of my profession is to develop higher-order critical thinking skills on the part of my students. Well, apparently that doesn't work in Mississippi. And what I'm referring to is a school board canceling a high school prom 3 weeks before it was scheduled to occur. Now, they were saying that, well, maybe some private group will sponsor the prom instead. Well, it still takes more than 3 weeks to organize one. Now, their motivation behind this is convergence of both bigotry and cowardice. For you see, at the heart of the question was a lesbian student who, one, wanted to wear a tuxedo to the prom, and two, bring her girlfriend. This is where the bigotry comes into play. For you see, they couldn't have that. But now that comes the part of the cowardice. They were thinking that, if they did nothing and just simply said, no, you can't do it, they were afraid that the ACLU was going to come after them. And the cowardice part is, maybe if they cancel prom, the ACLU will leave them alone. Because, well, they're no longer singling out this individual for having their rights taken away. This is where critical thinking needs to look at this a little more closely. What you have done is you have now created a martyr. You have now created a spokesman to be your downfall. In fact, the state laws in Mississippi also have an anti-bullying policy. I looked it up on the net. And you cannot intimidate, coerce, such like that. And even though they didn't say they did because of this one young lady, it's pretty well known this was the case. And you've now singled her out so she can be bullied and intimidated by other people. And you have now facilitated. And to make matters worse, you have basically made the ACLU's claim against you. You've done the work for them. Because you have basically established that, yes, we are taking her rights away. Her right to be educated in peace. And you cannot cloak this by saying, well, by canceling the prom, we've affected everybody. Because what if a private organization were to sponsor prom? Would she be invited? True. They could wash their hands of it. Hey, word for Pontius Pilate, right? No, their cowardice has basically led to their own downfall. And even before that, the bigotry, which sparked the whole thing. Now the ACLU can basically rake them over the coals, and you have created a celebrity in the short term. I was picking this up from my local broadcast, several hundred miles away. So now, you pretty well messed yourselves up. If you had just simply said no and wait for the ACLU to get involved, the process would have taken certainly longer than 3 weeks, and it would have been a moot point because the prom would have been over. Now you have expedited matters. Now, to their credit, they actually were doing some thinking. For you see, in Mississippi, there are some school districts that have used this similar tactic in the past. And in fact, some still do. The idea being, if it's done by a private organization, we're not subject to various laws in terms of equality. For you see, there are some places that still have segregated proms. Not done by schools, but by private organizations. They figured out a way to by stealing other people's rights. No, we're not having a prom. We'll have private individuals. Of course, they're all white. And, well, they will pick and choose who gets to go amongst the white folks. 40 years ago, that was the state of affairs. Now we'll let the straight folks decide who the straight people and straight students who get to go. The more things change, the more they seem the same.